Start, Stingray.
Alright, alright. You are live, Lauren, you are live.
A very good morning to everyone. We have a very exciting start to our dive. We have a stingray. Emil, show the stingray before it disappears. Now we're very shallow at the minute, only a few meters, and we have a small juvenile southern stingray feeding in the shallows. And of course it's got that barjack accompanying it. So just some quick introductions. It's obviously Lauren here. We have Emil on camera, and we have Patrick on top. Over to you, Pat.
Hello everyone, so what an exciting start to this dive. We do have, as Lauren said, a southern stingray. Now you might notice this barjack that's hanging around it very intently, not really giving it an inch. And that is because the barjacks use these stingrays as essentially just a metal detector for their food. So the stingrays are very sensitive to what's on the bottom because their mouth is on the underside. So the barjack knows this and will follow it around in the hopes that it will lead it to some food.
Yeah, so it's really shallow right now. And you can see it's not too bothered by us right now because I think it's really focused on getting its breakfast. And this is actually the shallowest I have ever seen a stingray. I'm only at 2.9 meters now. So we're trying not to scare it, so I'm hanging back. But just some information for you about stingrays. They are fish. Ultimately, stingrays are fish. And they're grouped together with sharks. So you wouldn't believe it, but stingrays' distant cousins are sharks. And this is because their skeleton is not made from bone like ours. It's made from cartilage. And cartilage is a completely different material, and we can find it on our bodies at the end of our nose and our ears. So it's that squidgy material, and that is what their whole skeleton is made from. So even though it's weaker than bone, it's far more flexible, which gives them the ability to glide through the ocean, like you can see right now. You can see how they get the name, the birds of the ocean. Their fins are like wings, and they're able to move like this due to the flexibility of their skeleton. Now the barjacks disappeared, but the stingray is literally just hovering inches above the bottom of the reef here, and it's just going in and out of all the channels and the canyons looking for food. Now, as Pat mentioned, the mouth is on the underside, so their eyes are on the top. So when you think about this body design, they're never going to actually be able to see what they're eating. So both sharks and rays have developed a super sense, if you like, and they have lots of gel-filled pores underneath their body, almost on their nose, if you like. And this allows them to sense electrical impulses and signals from their prey. And sharks also have this, and in some species it can be so powerful that it would be like us detecting a small battery signal from over 10,000 miles away. It's incredible. And that is ultimately how they get their food. They don't rely on their eyes too much. They have other senses. They don't need to rely on their eyes. Are you guys getting a good view of the stingray?
This is an unreal view, actually. Emil's doing a great job following it around.
Are you jealous, Pat?
I am very jealous. It's a great start to the dive. I told you there was going to be some good energy today.
Oh, thank you. I feel that. I feel very lucky.
Ooh, and it looks like it's found itself some food.
Oh, a don't want to get too close. I'm hanging right back. Yes, it's feeding right now. And what it's doing is it's right against the bottom of the reef, and it's using a suction force. So this is called tenting. It's putting its wings down in the bottom, and it's lifting its sort of main body cavity up, and this creates a suction force, almost like a vacuum. So everything underneath is going to get sucked right into the stingray's mouth. And I think this is the best sighting of a stingray I have had on diveLIVE so far. And they are carnivores, so they do actually have very strong jaws, but not necessarily teeth like ours. Their teeth are made up of scales, and these scales are actually called placoid scales, and they're able to shed and replace them continuously. So it's a continual movement of teeth, and this is the one way that stingrays actually show sexual dimorphism. So all that means is that there will be an obvious difference between male and female, but this is only during mating season. So during mating season, the male's teeth will get really pointy at the end, and this is so that they can bite the female. So they do have teeth, and they use their sort of jaws in like a mortar and pestle kind of movement where they crush their prey. So they do eat shellfish, crustaceans, small shrimp. Oh, but lots happening here. Lots of tarpons. Can you see them?
Yes, we
they're
can.
also feeding.
Now, we do have a question here from our good mate Keith. He's asking, is this stingray a boy or a girl?
Well, that's a great question. Unfortunately, I'm not able to tell. So I'm going to just keep my eyes open when I'm talking to you. But the genitals of a stingray and a shark are underneath. So we were only able to see the top side of that stingray. So I was not able to see if it was boy or girl. But the males will possess a pair of claspers. Now these claspers hook onto the female during mating. And in the females, these are absent. So when you have a look at a shark or a ray, you need to look under and you look out for a pair of claspers. This was not full size, so it wasn't quite a juvenile, but it's definitely not a full size adult for the southern stingray. Now the southern stingray is the type of whiptail ray, and it's very, very, very common in these areas. So, Emil, shall we see if we can try and find this ray again? I just saw it somewhere over here.
And Betty was asking whether they were gills near its eyes, and they're not quite exactly gills, but that is very close. So what they are is a structure called spiracles. Now what these spiracles do is they act as a way for the stingray to keep water moving over their gills so they can keep oxygenating their blood and stay alive.
Yeah, so these spiracles are like a secondary respiration organ, if you like. So it's not as effective as the normal breathing, but they are able to draw water in through these holes and put it to the gills for gas exchange. But they can't draw in the same amount of water, so they only use the spiracles when they're feeding. So one thing that's important to mention about stingrays, they do have quite a bad reputation in the media, and this is probably due to one incredibly unfortunate incident with a very famous Australian man called Steve Irwin. I'm sure many of you have heard of this incident where he was killed by a stingray. So just at the base of the stingray's body, on the tail, is a barbed stinger. Now this stinger contains venom. So if you were to step on this, it would be incredibly painful and you would be injured. But stingrays do not use these stingers defensively. They're more offensively. They're just there to protect them from predators. They're not aggressive animals. They're in fact very docile. and they will not actively try to hurt you. Now this barb in some species can go up to 35 centimeters. Now this is obviously in the much bigger rays. Pat, can you do a quick conversion?
Sorry, what was that again?
35 centimeters.
35 centimeters. In inches, that is just over 10, maybe about 12 to 15 inches.
Yeah, thank you. So they can get really big, and the barb is serrated, so it's really jaggy around the edges, facing the body. So when the barb enters into its victim, most of the damage is done when the barb is being pulled out because of these serrated edges. So that's where their bad reputation comes from, but it is completely and utterly undeserved. Eagle rays also have these stingers. Most rays do, but they're not present in manta rays or porcupine rays. So Emil is like a stingray himself. He's off after this guy, and we are swimming incredibly fast.
And don't forget, if you do have any questions, I mean, Lauren's covered just about everything there is to know about stingrays, but if you do have any more questions, please ask away. And we do actually have one here from Proud Cat Mama. She wants to know, how long does a baby stingray stay with its mother?
Well, they're completely independent, so let me give you a lengthy explanation on this one. Stingrays are ovoviviparous, and what that means is the eggs are actually inside the mother, and they're fertilized by the male through copulation, and the eggs will hatch after about 18 months. It's a very long gestation period. The eggs will hatch inside the mother, and they will survive there for a few days, feeding off the yolk from the eggs until the mother gives birth to them. Live birth, and there's no placental attachment. Now, rays are big enough and strong enough to fend for themselves against predators and the ability to get food. There is no maternal care. Now, in general, stingrays can give birth to between 1 to 12 pups, but specifically southern stingrays, it's generally between 2 to 10 pups per litter. So stingrays can mate once a year. They do become ready to mate once a year, but they do have that long gestation period where they carry their young for a very long time. So I think I've burned a lot of calories here and a lot of air. Let me just check my air. Not too bad. I'm on 150. So the stingray swam off. So we are now going to go out to the reef, figure out where we are, and see what else we can show you. But please do send in your stingray questions. I'm a bit obsessed with rays, and I have a lot of knowledge about them, and I'm happy to share them with you. So please pass them if you have them, and we are going to make our way to the reef.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, we do have time for a couple more ray questions. So, My Safari was asking, are they part of the shark family? And they most definitely are. So, the shark family you're referring to is chondrichthyes, and that is what the rays are a part of. So, they're not actually sharks, but they are in the same family. Now, what groups these guys together is the fact that they have a skeleton made of cartilage, as Lauren just mentioned earlier.
Oh, Emil's got something up ahead. Oh, eagle ray, eagle ray.
Oh, you are kidding.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm going to be quiet. You can talk, Pat.
Alright, so the reason Lauren's being quiet is because our sightings with eagle rays have been very fleeting. So we believe that they may be able to hear us. And so we're going to stay very quiet here. But while we're following this, so this is a great time to take a question from Sophie, who was asking whether the eagle, what's the difference between the eagle ray and the stingray? And well, we can see it right here. So the eagle ray has a lot more of a triangular shape, and the wings, well, yes, the wings are more triangular, giving the body a real diamond. And we can see that the tail of an eagle ray is very elongated. So if you can look at this one here, that's about double the length of the body. Can you give us a size estimate here, Lauren?
Oh my goodness. This is amazing.
This is a great sighting.
This is a fantastic dive. We're going to follow it as much as we can.
Can you give us a size estimate, Lauren?
What was that, sorry?
Just a size estimate?
Maybe from nose to tail, about 2.5 meters.
Wow, that's a big boy.
8 feet. Oh my goodness. Did you guys get a good view of that?
We did, that was great.
So we managed to see a stingray and an eagle ray. Oh, what now? A turtle! Oh my goodness!
You are kidding
I need to
me.
catch my breath. This is incredible. Oh wow! So Pat, you get up that database, and I will give a little intro to turtles.
Alrighty.
So here we have a hawksbill, and I'm really not sure which one this is. This is a hawksbill turtle. And what I mean by asking Pat to bring up the database is that we are actually able to positively identify each individual turtle using the facial scales. So what Emil is going to do now is give us a nice close-up of the left side of the turtle's face, and Pat is going to manually match it up with our very small but ever-growing database. I really don't know who it is, Pat. It's not Gretchen, it's not Sharkbait, it's not Pat. Any ideas?
Well, I believe, yes, okay. So this is actually an old friend of ours that we have only seen once, named Mowgli.
Oh, yay! I've been waiting to see Mowgli again. How exciting! So yes, we've only seen Mowgli once, and actually me and Pat were talking about this individual the other day, saying how we've never seen it again. So just to give you a little bit of context, I am still only at 5 meters. All this action that you have just seen this morning happened basically not below 5 meters. So Mowgli here is definitely a hawksbill, the most common species around here, and she is an adult. Her carapace length, her shell length, from the top to the bottom is definitely more than 60 centimeters, which is probably about 24 inches, and therefore we can say that she is a female. She is missing that big long tail at the bottom of her shell, and that's how we know it's not a male. So she's circling, probably looking for some sponges to eat. They are spongivores. I'm not sure if that's the correct word, but that's what they call them, because they just love to eat sponges all day long. And that's their important role in the ecosystem, is to munch away on the sponges to ensure that the sponges don't overgrow all the coral. So everybody, I am more than happy to still answer questions about the eagle ray if you would like, because it was just a fleeting sighting, or on the turtle that we have, or even on stingrays. These 3 animals are probably what I know most about in the whole entire ocean. So even although the eagle ray has gone, I'm more than happy to still answer questions if there's anything you really want to know.
Well, we actually do have quite a few here coming in about the turtles. So Gizmo wants to know, how old do you think Mowgli is?
Well, she's definitely an adult, and hawksbills don't become truly sexually mature until around 20 to 25 years of age. Now, hawksbills really only live to between 30 and 50 years. So I would probably estimate that she's somewhere in her 20s, around about that ballpark. But we cannot really say, but she's definitely not a juvenile. She's survived through all the challenges that life has thrown at her, and she's here with us today.
What an amazing sighting. So we have another question here. Love Dogs is wondering, what is the problem with the back of her shell? Is it an injury, or is it a fungus, or is it algae?
I was just looking at that. I'm a little bit further behind, but there is some sort of coralline algae growing on the shell. But then on the left side, there is a bit of damage, I think. Maybe Pat will be closer because of a zoom, but I think she's either scraped it or knocked it. There is a little bit of damage on the left side towards the back, but it's not a bite. It's not been inflicted by another animal.
Yeah, so it does just look like it has been, as Lauren said, scraped or scratched, and then there has been a growth of algae over the top of that white patch, and it's obviously a lot more noticeable because it is on a white background. Now, they also, the hawksbills, one of the identifying features is that their scales do overlap a little bit, so that gives it more of a damaged appearance, even though it's not that bad.
Yeah, I remember Simone kept on thinking that sharkbait was damaged, but Pat's completely right. One of the main identification features, and actually the sort of purpose behind their Latin name, is that these big scales that you see on the shell do overlap. So it can look a bit bumpy and a bit broken and damaged, and algae can grow in that ridge where the two scales overlap. So yeah, it's not the smoothest of shells, but it is in fact one of the most beautiful. Now, you probably wouldn't think it right now looking at Mowgli, because she needs a good clean, but hawksbill shells are the main source behind the tortoise shell jewellery. So the tortoise shell jewellery is huge in the jewellery trade, and you can use it to make necklaces, earrings, bracelets, whatever you like. And most people are not aware that it comes from the hawksbill sea turtle. Now, it is incredibly beautiful. I have found an old hawksbill shell before, and once polished up, it does make the most fantastic jewellery.
So it looks like Mowgli is now going up to end their dive. Now, turtles do have to hold their breath because they are reptiles, so they breathe using lungs. And we have a question here from S. Hutch's Life, and she wants to know whether the turtles, whether the amount of time they can hold their breath for changes between species and age.
Oh, absolutely. So the bigger turtles, such as, well, the leatherback or even the green turtle, they are able to hold their breath much longer. They will have much bigger lungs. And, of course, age is a big factor. I have worked with baby turtles a lot, little hatchlings, and they're so sweet. They are literally no bigger than the size of my hand. They're tiny, they're not strong enough, their shell is not hard enough, and they're very clumsy. Ooh, big queen triggerfish. We rarely see her. So yes, their shells are not big enough, so they're not able to dive down. Now, I've worked with many rehabilitated hatchlings, and it is quite amusing trying to watch these hatchlings learn how to duck dive. So it takes a long time before they can, and they have to learn how to go deeper and deeper. So right in front of us, we have the elusive yet beautiful queen triggerfish. Now, we show you a lot of triggerfish on diveLIVE, but we rarely see the queen. Now, she is very big, and I've got a sighting of Mowgli over here. I'm going to try and get you back to Mowgli. So So yes, the queen triggerfish actually have a special membrane just to the rear of their pectoral fins. These ones are the pectoral fins. Just to the rear is a special membrane. She's the only one in the triggerfish family that has it, and she's able to beat it to produce a noise. And this noise is quite loud to other fish, and it basically tells them to go away. We, of course, cannot hear that. So let me just take a look for Mowgli. Okay, so we're not able to go that way anymore. So we are just going to turn around, and who knows what we're going to see next. I am exhausted with excitement.
Lauren, I think we can start calling you Butter because you're on a roll.
Why not? Oh dear. So I've still got lots of bar left because we are so shallow. I'm still only at 6 meters now. So please send in any questions about what you have seen. If there's no immediate questions, Pat, I'm more than happy to give you more information about the elusive eagle ray that we don't see so often.
Well, we do have one here from Craig asking, do turtles go to cleaning stations?
Yes, they do, kind of. They don't visit the cleaning stations in the same way that fish do, but lots of fish, especially tangs, really enjoy following a turtle to eat what's on the shell. So the shells are actually a really important feature. They host a lot of epibionts, and all that means is hitchhikers. So these epibionts hitchhike lots of rides on the turtle. Now they normally make a home on the turtle shell, and this is beneficial for so many reasons. They can travel with the turtle for free, getting lots of different food on the way, and it's also good in diversifying their genetics. So there's a lot of advantages to life on a turtle shell. And a loggerhead actually was found with 100 different species of epibionts on its shell. So they do need to get cleaned of this, because if there's too many things living on the shell, then it affects their swimming ability. They will not be so streamlined. So they do need to get cleaned, and they will come to a station, but they don't tend to hover for too long. They do keep moving, and the blue tangs are the main cleaners of the turtle shell.
Yeah, that's great to know. So it's not just fish that do get cleaned, it is the turtles and other, even some marine mammals and other reptiles.
So the current is very strong. Me and Emil are making quite a swim for it. But what a dive so far. I'm in shock. So Emil, let's just go down here a little bit deeper to try and get away from the surface current. So all that means is the water is pushing me this way, so I'm slightly going backwards, and it just takes more effort for me to swim. So we're just going to go down this little canyon here and see what we can see.
And while we're going that way, Lauren, Josh is asking for an air check, being a good dive bud.
Sure. I have 120 bar, so I'm glad you're worrying about me, because I'm all exhausted from all of that swimming. Talking and swimming is actually a lot harder than it looks. So I'm kind of hoping that no other surprise comes. So yeah, Emil's just going to take us into this beautiful little canyon and see what we can see.
So now that we've crossed off a stingray, an eagle ray and a turtle, is there anything else that you'd like to see during this dive?
Oh, for me, I am more than happy. I can't even explain it. But Pat, what about you? Can I find anything for you?
Well, seeing as you've got an eagle ray and a stingray, maybe a little lemon ray might be cool.
Oh, okay. Well, you do normally find them hovering above the sand, so we're on it. We might even stop for a little while to catch our breaths and I would like to get to know the fishies a little bit better. So because we have this zoom, I want to start zooming in on some of the fish.
Sure thing. And now Joy is asking, can turtles retract their head into their shell, like with sea turtles?
No, they can't. They have got a really flexible neck, but they're not able to do that full retraction that land turtles can. So the answer to that is no.
And Betty wants to know whether barnacles grow on turtle shells, and yes, so the turtle shell is a very hard substrate, and that's perfect for a barnacle to attach to and grow. As we have a big mutton snapper cruising on past. These guys are notorious for hanging around divers. They hopefully are after a feed of lionfish, because lionfish do get culls here because they are an invasive species, and the mutton snapper have clued onto that if they can hang around a diver for long enough, they might get a cheeky little lionfish on the side.
Okay, Emil, let's just go this way because the current's a bit tricky. So let's go this way, okay? Sure. So we're just going to hover above the reef. We have came a little bit deeper. I am at 8 meters, so not that deep, but just a little bit deeper. So going back to the eagle ray, we kind of flitted from a stingray to an eagle ray really quickly. So there are differences, and that eagle ray we saw was Atobatus nari. Now the importance of what I just said is because they originally thought that there was one species of white-spotted eagle ray, but since genetic tests, morphological tests, and parasitic tests, they've now split it into 3 based on region. So the eagle ray that you would find in the Maldives, for example, is not the same eagle ray that you find here in the Caribbean. Now, in length, they can go very long. They can go from the tip of their nose to the end of their tail 5 meters. So that's about maybe 16 feet. And their wings, from wingtip to wingtip, they can actually go to 3 meters, about 10 feet. So they can get incredibly big. The one that we saw was not so big, but they can definitely get much bigger. Now I told you about the little special pores that stingray have on the underside. Eagle rays also have them, but they've kind of taken it a step further. Now they get their name eagle ray from their sort of beak-like nose at the front of their body. Now they've developed this because it creates a much larger surface area for all these pores. So this big nose allows for more room for the pores, which means that they can sense animals a lot better. So they are great predators. And there's a lot of jokes about eagle rays being slightly blind. And they aren't, but sometimes they don't really notice a diver or a snorkeler until they come right into them. So they're like, oh, I didn't see you there. And it's not because they're blind, it's because they're not relying on their eyes. They don't really need to use their eyes because they've got this extra super sense underneath their nose, which we sometimes call a rostrum. Now, because it's in the same family as stingrays, it's the same when it comes to male and female. We will be looking for the claspers in a male, and it's the same with the composition of their skeleton. They also have skeletons made from cartilage. Now, you might not immediately notice this, but when you're looking at stingrays and eagle rays, even manta rays, the top side, so they're like my back, is always dark. It's always dark in colour, and the underside, like my tummy, is always white. Now this is quite a unique form of camouflage. So if you think about it, if the eagle ray or stingray is higher up in the water column near the surface, any predator looking up might not notice it because it will blend in with that bright white glare of the surface. Now, if the stingray or the eagle ray is on the bottom, a predator might not notice it because it blends in with the sea floor. So that's a great technique of these rays to camouflage themselves against predators. So that was just some information for you on the animals that we have seen today.
And while we're on the eagle ray, Joy wants to... Well, Joy has noticed that there are some similar... Well, she says that the eagle ray reminds her of a whale shark. She wants to know, is there any similarities
between an eagle ray and a whale shark?
Yes, because she said that the eagle ray really reminded her of a whale shark.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Pat mentioned earlier that rays and sharks are grouped together in that one big family because of these reasons that we've mentioned. So yes, I guess eagle rays and whale sharks are closely related. And maybe what reminded you was that spot pattern. So whale sharks also have a spot pattern on their body. And actually, you can positively identify individual whale sharks. There's a huge organisation working on that, and they analyse the spot pattern next to the pectoral fin. There's a special triangular area which is unique in each individual. And they are currently working on analysing the spot pattern on the spotted eagle ray's back. They do believe that this will be unique to each individual, but it's a lot more complex. So I don't believe... Oh, there's lots of fish around me. I do believe that they will work out a technique for that soon.
And Lauren has been absolutely smashing out the facts today and taking all of the questions, so she's done so well. But if you do want to test her knowledge further, please keep those questions coming in. And make sure, if you're on Twitter, to hashtag diveLIVE so we can see what you said.
Oh, thanks, Pat. Rays are my speciality. I got into marine biology because of sharks. So I grew up just being obsessed and crazy about sharks. And then, oh, hello, Barjack. And then that fascination eventually turned into rays. So they are my favourites. So you can imagine today, seeing my two favourites, rays and turtles, I am over the moon.
Yes,
now the current is really strong, so me and Emil are just going to swim for a little bit and try and find somewhere to settle where we can show you a little bit more fish before we end the dive. I'm currently at 100 bar now.
Well, we have a question from Proud Cat Mama asking how many different types of species of rays are there? Now, I've heard that there is about 500 different species of rays and skates.
Yes, I think it's 550 of rays in general. So Pat's right. But regarding stingrays, I think it's around like a couple of hundred. But yeah, in general, there's about 550, I think.
And Hunter, just to clarify where we are, so we are on Grand Cayman Island. We are out the western side of the island in front of Don Foster's Dive Centre, our good friends down here in Grand Cayman. And we are well, Lauren is about, probably about 100 metres or 320 feet offshore right now.
Yes, and I am at 11 metres deep now. I got a little barjack following me around. Maybe he thinks I'm a ray or a turtle, which is a compliment, I guess. And they are opportunistic feeders. So this little guy is quite high up on the predator chain, if you like. Jacks are big predators, but he just follows other animals around trying to snap up what they're feeding on. So I've given you my air, 100 bar. Emil, how is your air? You're okay? I'm just going to have a look. Okay, Emil did most of the swimming there to find those animals for you. So it's important for me that I also check his ear. So we're in a canyon this now, and the reason we've came here is because the current is very strong for us up there. So we're just going to take a little look along the canyon, and we're going to try and identify as many fish that we see for you. Now, I probably won't be able to do that by eye, so Patrick, my darling, it is over to you and that ID book.
Yes, so I do have an extensive identification guide up here. So we haven't really shown too many of the smaller species of fish because we haven't had Zoom, but now we have Zoom, this kind of opens up a new world to us, and we can show you some of these cryptic species because a lot of them are very interesting and also quite cool to observe, especially the little blennies. So blennies will quite often poke their heads out of a little opening, and they can't, well, they have independent vision in terms of their eyes, so one eye can move independently of the other, and this looks hilarious. I absolutely love looking at blennies, so if we could find one of those, that would be great.
Yeah, so Emil, we're just going to focus on little fish. So any little fish that we see around this coral bombing, we're going to put Pat to the test. And I'm sure he will get his revenge on me one day.
Wow, we've got a giant anemone here with a lot of little mysid shrimp hanging around. So all of those little fish-looking organisms there are actually tiny little shrimps.
Okay, so Emil, we're looking at fish. So let's just have a look for a fish. So maybe if we just look at the top of the bombing, and let's see if we can get some identifications on these small little fish.
Well, I can tell you straight off the bat that these little blue ones with the deeply forked tails are the blue chromis. So they are a type of damselfish, joined by another species of damselfish, that yellow one there with the white tail, that is a bicolour damselfish.
Now there is a yellow, oh my goodness, there's a tiny baby trunkfish. Oh, it's the smallest I've ever seen. Okay, if we stay here, Emil, it should come back up. It's actually smaller than those blue chromis. Okay, let me go have a look to see if we can find... Oh, yay! He's got it! Can you see that?
Oh, wow! So this is a tiny little baby trunkfish. How big would you say this is?
Just a little over an inch. It's the smallest one I've ever seen. How cute. Now, we regularly show you the adults on our live dives, but here's a tiny baby one. And this is why it is worthwhile just sort of taking a breather and stopping over a coral bombing, for example, because you do find the little juveniles hiding out for safety in amongst the corals. Have you still got a visual on it?
Yes, we do. Now, this is the smooth trunkfish, and if we had have got this a little bit earlier in its life cycle, it would have been great, because these guys start out developing literally as a sphere, so their body is a spherical shape. Now, this one is just kind of starting to metamorphosize a little bit, but it is so cute.
Oh, it's adorable. I love them when they're adults, so just to see a teeny tiny version is just great.
Wow, what a cute little fella. And you can see it's beating those anal and dorsal fins very, very hard. Whoop, something just... It looks like it just got chased off there by a damselfish.
Now, we probably would have ignored lots of these fish previously because we weren't able to zoom in on them, but now it's just given us a new lease of life. We're able to show you so many of the small fish. So we're just going to head a little bit this way and continue to look for some unusual fish for you, Pat.
Yeah, we want to get our identifications diversified a little bit, so let's see what else we can find. We
do have a blue striped grunt ahead. that yellow fish with the blue stripes. Are you able to see that one?
Yes, so we can see that one quite well. So this is actually a snapper. They have quite different coloration, but if you look at their general shape, you can see that they are similar to those mutton snappers that we've seen swimming about.
So we just hope you're enjoying the more relaxed pace of the dive. I know I am.
Yeah, give you a bit of time to catch your breath after that very hectic start. So we have a stoplight parrotfish. So this is a male, and we know that this one is a male because it's bright blue and a bit bigger as well. So the females tend to be a more drab, pale or browny colour. So we do get quite a few different species of snappers here. So we just showed you the grunt, and as you saw just then, the mutton snapper. There's also the dog snapper, the red snapper, other species of grunts. And right now we have a little squirrel fish hiding away there. So this squirrel fish is called so because apparently they make sounds like a squirrel.
And what does that sound like, Pat?
I can't do it. I can't tell yet. Yeah, so they have quite a big eye because they are nocturnal, which is also why it is hiding out under the crack where it's a lot darker and quieter for them.
So I am almost down to 70 bar. So we are just going to get Emil to have a look at this beautiful top of this coral bombing. There's lots of healthy coral here, and there's teeny tiny fish. So I don't actually know this one, but there is a very small fish with a yellow and black striped body. Can you help me identify that one, Pat?
Yeah, sure. So is it this cigar-shaped one? I can't see it at the moment.
Yeah, this is a tricky part. They do dart in and out. Okay, what about this small yellow one, Emil, with the dark spot at the back?
Oh, yes. So I think I can identify that one. I believe that this is a damselfish.
It looks like a damselfish, but I'm not sure which one it is.
Now, it could also be a juvenile rock beauty because they also develop with a spot.
I do think it's a damselfish, but yes, it could be either. So don't worry, take your time to look at the book, but I'm intrigued to know what this little fish is.
So I'm just switching to the damselfish now.
And we do have this mutton snapper that's just flirting with me, I think.
So yes, that is a 3-spot damselfish, but it is in its juvenile phase.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Come on, new one to add to the list.
Yes, so as that gets older, it will turn a more dark brown colour, and the spots will fade. They still make, like, you can still make them out, the spots, but they are not as prominent here on that yellow body that they have as a juvenile.
Oh, this mutton snapper is literally just like coming right up to me. It's very cute. It must think I have some food for it, and I absolutely don't.
Maybe it just thinks you're a pretty other snapper.
Possibly, yes.
Now, Heidi is hoping that there's a lobster hanging around in these cracks as
I don't know
well.
if I could take any more excitement if I found a lobster. But we will keep our eyes peeled for them. I think Emil might have something.
It is a spiny lobster.
No way. Oh my goodness. Let me just get around to take a look.
We're only seeing its antennas right now.
Oh yes. Are you able to get any sort of view on it, or not so much?
Not really. We can only see its antennas poking out there.
Okay, who was it that requested the lobster?
So that was Heidi that
Well,
wanted
there
the
you
lobster.
go, Heidi. That's how good I am. Even though it was a meal, we found it. So yeah, we've had rays, we've had reptiles, and I guess now we've got a crustacean for you. So the reason Emil probably is having a little bit of trouble getting it on camera is because it is hiding out in a sort of big crack or crevice in this coral bombing, which is the perfect hideout for a lobster because they are nocturnal predators. So during the day they do tend to hide out. Are you able to see it now or not?
Yeah, so we're getting a better view of its head right now. It looks like it's coming out. It looks like a little juvenile as well. That looks very tiny.
Well, that would make sense. These sort of shallow areas, the shallow bombings, are where the juveniles do tend to hide out. The adults normally go a little bit deeper. And lobsters are obviously covered in that hard shell, which we call the exoskeleton. Now the lobsters here are spiny lobsters, and they do have sharp little spines on their body. It's not always easy to see them, but their shell is covered in little spines, which of course is where the name comes from. And they lack these big claws, so when you think of lobster, you probably automatically think of a big lobster with these huge claws on either side. But they lack claws. And therefore, they are not true lobsters. They're not even related to them. They're very different. And they do normally have a den. So we are able to find a big male near the grotto when we go there. And we do know that he will be there because he has created this area as his den. And they are quite territorial over their dens. And that is where they wait for the ladies. Oh, any other requests that I can find for you?
Well, I think everyone's pretty satisfied right now. You've done well today.
Okay, so I have got a little bit of air, but Emil is out after all that swimming. So we're going to wrap up the dive, but I want to say thank you to everyone, especially Emil and Pat. I could never do any of this without these guys. We saw a stingray, an eagle ray, a turtle, and a spiny lobster, and even a new fish. So thank you everybody. We will be back at 11 AM Caymanian time.
Thank you, Lauren. What an amazing dive. I'll see you all under the water with me at 11 o'clock Grand Cayman time.